Hello. So, thank you for letting me introduce you to Tibet. The slideshow starts with this beautiful flag, which was created by the 13th Dalai Lama. I'll explain who that is in a minute, in the early 1900s. And it represents a lot of things about Tibet. These are snow lions. And you see the Taoism symbol that you might recognize from when we talked about Taoism. Tibet is a mountainous place, and you have the big snow mountain here. And Tibetans are an indigenous people, and they have an origin story that goes back to 6 ancestors that are represented by these blue stripes coming out of the sun. This flag is a flag of Tibetan independence, and it is illegal to display it inside the People's Republic of China right now. So all of that gives you a little bit of a feeling for what we're thinking about here. Tibet is a historical indigenous community that goes back, way back, and Tibetans have their own language and their own culture, and their own religious tradition, which includes a religious government that has been their government since ancient times. Tibet as a nation has been very large and very small, and is currently inside of the borders of what defined by the People's Republic of China, and inside in the view of the People's Republic of China, they call it an autonomous region, but they only recognize a smaller portion of this area, which the Tibetan people have a bigger vision of where their borders are. So they're near Nepal and share some common cultural things with Nepalis and people from Bhutan. This border here is the Himalayan mountains. So Tibet is a big plateau, a high plateau, a mountainous plateau stretching from the Himalayan mountains, and which forms the origin of the major rivers of China, come out of this plateau and flow down to the ocean. So the Tibetan people have their own government, as I said, and that is a religious government, a theocracy that's led by the leader of the Tibetan Buddhist religion, the Dalai Lama. And in the Tibetan tradition, which is a Buddhist tradition, the Dalai Lama is reincarnated. The same soul is reincarnated in a different body as the bodies of the Dalai Lama die. So this is the 14th Dalai Lama, and when his body dies, his soul will be reincarnated, and the leaders of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition will go out in search of the child who has received that soul, who was born on the right day to have received that soul, and who indicates by their behavior that they have the soul of the Dalai Lama in them. The Dalai Lama has a palace traditionally that is the seat of the Tibetan Buddhist government, called the Patala, and it is a World Heritage Site, an amazing building that's preserved as a cultural record. And that as I said, the tradition is a Buddhist tradition, but it is deeply Tibetan and mixed in with an indigenous religion called Bon. The Tibetan Buddhist tradition hugely respects meditation, and this young woman is spinning these prayer wheels, which have a prayer written on the outside and sometimes on the inside as well, and then you spin them so that the prayer is said over and over again in the eyes of the heavens. The practitioners, the guides within the religion are Buddhist monks and nuns, and some of them pictured here. They dress in this particular style and try to live a life of meditation and service. This particular monk here has been in prison for a long time in China because of his close relationship with the community and advocacy for them. So the Chinese government does not recognize the Dalai Lama's government and does not recognize the religion, and has been in a fight over the control of Tibet for some time now. So this prompted a lot of Tibetans to leave China. And so the current government of the Dalai Lama is actually a government in exile, and it has its headquarters in Dharamsala in India. So this is their government building in India. And this is a picture of the inside library where the Tibetans, as they left Tibet on foot for India, brought books and records of their government with them to preserve them outside of the country because of fear that the government of China would destroy them. And so if you meet Tibetan people in the United States, oftentimes they will tell you that they've come through India, that they maybe even only knew India, because it's been some time that the Tibetan community a lot of Tibetans have been in exile in India. So this is the Tibetan language, which is a language that is so old and so unique and so isolated that it really bears no relationship to any other language family. It has its own script, which you see here. It's a tonal language, so it has a kind of sing-songy feel to it as the tones rise and fall. It also has a trilled R, which some of you may know if you speak Spanish, and so that adds to its musicality and its beauty. One of the oldest Tibetan art forms is called the tanka, and that is a religious painting of the Buddha or the various incarnations of the Buddha. This one here is from the 17th century, showing a central Buddha figure and also some other religious figures in the background. And this one here is from the 14th century, showing a central Buddha and a bunch of other religious icons in the background. These were used for teaching, they're used as decoration, they're used as meditation guides, and you see this art form, the tanka, also in Nepal and in Bhutan. Another art form that's special in Taiwan, disturbed by the bell. Another art form that's very special in Tibet is the sand painting. This is a mandala, a circular meditation concept, made out of crushed rock. And the art of making the painting and then destroying the painting is all part of a religious practice that the monks have. So I want to show you a video of that. This is the creation of a sand painting during a peace conference that happened in 2014. I'm just going to show you a few minutes. They're laying out the painting, the geometry of it very carefully, and then starting to form the center and building it out. The colors are very symbolic and representational. It took 3 days to make this painting. The flags that you see in the windows in the background are Tibetan prayer flags. We have some here in our classroom. There's a flag inscribed, there's a prayer inscribed on the flag, and then as it fades with the sun, it goes up to heaven. So there's the finished mandala, which they will then destroy after people have seen it. So that is sort of symbolic of the cycle of life and the impermanence of things, and a reminder not to get stuck on property and objects. There's also obviously a musical tradition. I'm going to show you some traditional music and some more modern music from the Tibetan community. This Nangma Toshe is a whole genre of classical music. And I'm going to show you a little bit of rap from this performer Dawa Tsana, who he has had his picture taken here with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So this is the classical tradition a little bit. So it's just a sample. You can see it's very meditative, but some people find the high voice to be a little distracting, but once you get used to it, it has a way of kind of creeping into your memory. So a little bit of modern music. This is a rap song.
Yeah, tanah kota debisi kulit di nang lamit sama susu tani desha. Lara ciki ciki susu kanyi samu tangan langa dugi dugi susu kawa jadi digi. Desa mit sama chala sabu yore chala sabu yune susu nang mit kita kayo mari. Misi ni mune kin sabu je. Kanzu maga yune deba kaya yo mari. Man sama goye ni cipu je. De wata kuno da dume misi. Man sama goye ni cipu je. Kange da dunge da sikhe da nasa. Kanzu sama chua mi je. Kange chengi je dunge yungu je. Sula kange never yo mari. Chon chini tebi na misi susu yore tam yachin stang mi na su cipu je. Kantu ni kanyi gula sama tangan tebi na duke di kanyi machi dunge yo mari. Ni misi 세진의 상태가 요마리 그거지 링어도 기사무리 먼저 메시는 당한 처음에 비인내 마마 슈네 어떤 동네 친구리 서울인디나 만수고야 대시대다닌지 만수 미치리나 만수고야 디니치마다니.
So you can hear the Buddhist teachings in that, and it's a kind of a quick rap lesson in all thoughts related to Buddhism. Very pretty. So a couple of other things that would be worth knowing. Tibetan culture, the indigenous culture of Tibet, is a nomadic culture. People traditionally moved with their animals as the animals found different things to eat in different seasons of the year. And so the yak is an animal that was cared for and developed, and all parts of the yak are eaten, and the yak milk is used for food. And here it's also decorated and honored as a cultural icon. And sheep and everything sheep and goat related is another whole set of business way of surviving and a job to take care of them. And you see here also a small horse being used as a tool for the shepherd. The food tradition in Tibet comes from the staple, which is barley. And you can make barley into a kind of doughy bun, and this is called stampa. And also noodles and other things that you can make out of barley. This is yak butter tea, which is just a black tea that's made with a little bit of butter from the yak milk mixed in, and kind of an acquired taste. My husband loves it and seeks it out at every restaurant that he can find it at, even though the first time he had it, he thought it was awful. So it's one of those things that grows on you, this kind of silky, fatty flavor along with the tea. And these are momos, which hopefully you have had a chance to try. And if not, please find a way to do that. This is a big sort of specialty within Tibetan cooking. It's like a dumpling. Because it's the Tibetan people are animal herders, cheese is a big part of their culture also. And so this is sheep's milk cheese made in a traditional way. And the meat of the lamb used in various dishes. Oh, trying to make my slideshow move. So I think that's all for today.